Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Y'all know I haven't been over here in a minute because I was going through everything with my ectopic. But I was like, you know what? I got to fit a video in this week. I missed 2 weeks already. So I was like, I'm trying to get ready because I have to go do some stuff for my mom. I was like, let me get ready real quick, then I'll fit. And I might as well fit my video in while doing it. I want y'all to know that the medication is working fine. My HCG levels are going down. I'm pretty sure all y'all know that by now. You could probably tell on TikTok that I'm actually back to feeling like my normal self again, you know? I was kind of worried. Not kind of. I was really worried on my hair. Ugh. I was really worried. Kind of sad, you know, upset all at the same time. But I'm like, you know what? We're getting this over with. No surgery. What more could you ask for, right? No surgery. Y'all, excuse the background. This is an extra room that I always use, but over here I have t-shirts. They're all new t-shirts to make stuff on. And then on this side, I have all of my grandbaby stuff. He'll be here in a few weeks. I have a lot more of his stuff that people have sent. And if you're one of those people that watch and you have sent something, thank you very, very, very much for my grandbaby's gifts. So today I wanted to come on here and because I said that I was going to do this video, but that I didn't know when I was going to do this video. And I feel like I might as well go ahead and do this video. Today I'm going to talk and let you guys know where our dad is and why my mom had to raise us by herself. Because I told you, if you're a person that's been here and you've been watching from the beginning, you know that my mom raised 3 kids by herself. So yeah. First I want to say, when I'm talking about my dad on here, this is biologically, this is my sister and my brother's real father. He got with my mom. His name's Charles. He got with my mom when I was 10 months old. So he's the only dad that I ever knew. But I always knew that he wasn't my real dad. But at the same time, he's my real dad. I have him tattooed on me, on my leg, and then I have him tattooed on my back. So that's my real pop-pop. But anyways, my real actual sperm donor lives in Honduras. I guess he's still alive. I don't know. He was, I think that he was like in the Air Force or something. Him and my mom met down in Texas. And yeah, so he really didn't have shit to do with me. So if one day, his name is Rodriguez Rivas. One day, if you happen to run across this, or you happen to be a person that knows somebody by that name, and you know that he has a child over here in the States, I just want to let you know, to let him know that I said fuck him. Okay? Anyways, so the story on our dad and why my mom raised us by herself. You know, I'm trying to braid my hair down today in a halo. Why my mom raised us by herself. So, she got with my dad. I'm just going to call him my dad. Y'all, I hope it don't confuse y'all. Charles, my dad, my sister and brother's dad. I'm going to talk about him as my dad as well because he was my dad. Okay, so she got with my dad when I was 10 months old. They got together and then had my sister and my brother, of course. My dad, he was actually, he had a lot of, and this didn't come until later. My mom worked a lot. Like, she worked a whole lot. So we was with my dad, like, all the time. And then whenever we weren't with my dad, it's probably because he was working. And then my dad would get paid, like, Friday. And you wouldn't see him until, like, Monday. And then he'd be dead broke again. So, as a father to his children, he was a great dad. As a husband to my mother, it could have been a whole lot better. Him and my mom used to fight a lot, but at the same time, y'all, there was a lot of love in that house when it came to the kids, and it came to him, or it came to the kids, and it came to my mama. So, my dad had a lot of problems, and I actually remember him going to, like, a crazy house, mental hospital, whatever we call a crazy house in the South. And he was diagnosed with being schizophrenic, right? Like, he he would legit like say some crazy stuff to people. He never did anything crazy to us or nothing like that. But he would say like some crazy stuff to people, like about aliens, or he knew where like missing children were at, and he knew where they were being hid and stuff like that. Yeah, it was crazy. So, all right. My mom and my dad, they used to fight a lot. My mom stayed with my dad until I want to say I was 9. Yeah, I think I was 9. That would have made my brother 5. My sister, I don't know, 7, 8. But, she stayed with him. Like I said, she always had to work 3 jobs. They used to fight all the time. And when I'm talking about fighting, I'm talking about they used to be fighting. Like, I remember my mama, because he used to drink and stuff. I remember my mama getting so fed up with his bullshit one night that they were in the living room arguing. And we stayed right next to my cousin and them. So I used to always run over there and get them to help. But I remember them fighting so bad one night. Like, my mom just rear back, smacked his ass so hard that he flipped over the back of the chair. They used to do some fighting. But again, they were great parents to their kids, okay? That did not make us, seeing them go through that did not make us become horrible people. That did not make my brother beat on his women. That didn't do none of that, okay? Okay, so when my mom, she basically got tired of going through that, living that life, and she was like, I'm gonna move, you know, me and my kids need better, like, we're gonna work today, we haven't been home, you know, we're gonna work today. She was like, basically like, me and my kids need a better life, and that is exactly what I'm gonna give my children. So my mom packed us up. She left her she had a mobile home. She left her trailer, okay, that she was buying. She left all that behind. She left it all to him. We moved. Clothes, that was it. That's about all we had, clothes and stuff. And we moved to Kentucky because my mom has sisters and brothers up there. And we moved with one of her brothers. And then eventually, after that, I don't know how long we stayed there. I can't remember everything. I don't know how long we stayed there, but after that, my mom moved into her own place there. But one of her other brothers moved in with us, him and his girlfriend at the time, which is now his wife, and they took care of us while my mom worked all the time. So, my mom would bring us back down here all the time to see my dad because, you know, she felt bad, like I moved my kids all the way to Kentucky. I should not take them. You know, just something that I feel like a normal mother would feel like, dang, I'm taking my kids away. Because for a long time after he got killed, she held that against her and thought, you know, if I would have did this, if I would have stayed, if I would have did this. And I don't think that was right. And we never felt like, well, it was your fault, you know, because you're the one that left him. So I don't know why she felt like that, but we never felt like that. But why ain't my pump working? So she used to bring us down here all the time to see him. Mind you, I did say that he was not my biological father. He was living with his mother. So when she would bring him down here, he never treated me like I was not his child, y'all, and I want y'all to know that. Never, ever, ever. I would have never knew that he wasn't my dad if my mom didn't make sure I knew that my whole life coming up. Like, she didn't want to lie to us. Okay, so one weekend my mom brought us down here. But that weekend, I remember him coming outside, and I was 10 at the time. I remember him coming outside with, like, this Barbie doll that he had bought. I still have it. It's in my mom's in her closet, and I'm 33. And, he was like, he brought the Barbie doll out because we were all going to stay there. He lived with his mom. Y'all remember that. Our grandma. And he was like, Alex, I bought you this Barbie doll. I just want you to know that I love you. Blah, blah, blah. You can't stay here anymore. Like, I couldn't stay the weekend. Like, his mom, he says that his mom, which I believe it at the time, and I don't want to talk about her bad because, you know, after growing up, you know, things change, but he was like, you can't stay here. And basically what it was is his mom was like, she didn't feel like he should be babysitting and taking care of me too because I wasn't his child. Mind you, he had been taking care of me and being my father for 10 years, but you know, like, I don't know. People are crazy, okay? So I couldn't stay there, and I remember him buying me this Barbie doll, and he was like, I don't want you to think that I don't love you, because I do love you. I love you very much, you know, when I get my own house, blah, blah, blah. So, I was like, all right, well, I can't stay, you know, whatever, can't stay. To this day, I don't hold it against him. I'm glad that I don't hold that against him, because, like I said, he took care of us about watching us, okay, because my mom did all the work. He took care of me until I was 10 years old, so I don't hold that against him. I just want y'all to know that. Anyways, I couldn't stay there because his mom did not want me to stay there anymore. And she always treated me like that when I was younger. When I got older, she didn't treat me like that. But when I was younger, she would tell me, like, you can't, like, Granddad, when he was living, she would be like, you can't call him Pawpaw. You need to call him Mr. Pelts. That is not your Pawpaw. Or, it was just random stuff she would say to me when I was little. And my mom, like, finally I started telling my mom. And then my mom was like, oh, hell no. This shit ain't finna go like this. Y'all gonna treat my kids the same. Blah, blah, blah. But anyways, she would do stuff like that. And mind you, when I got older, she did not treat me like that no more. I don't know if she just had different feelings or I don't know what it was. But she didn't treat me like that no more. So I went on, whatever, my sister and them would come down here. My dad always made sure that he still talked to me. Like, he would call me, he would check on us, whatever. He didn't treat me no different. The only thing is, I could not stay there because of his mother, and his mother said that she did not want me staying there. So that was the only reason I didn't stay there. But he would still call me. So, no, I was 9 at the time. On my 10th birthday, we lived in Kentucky. I remember him calling, and he was like, I was just calling to, it was the day of my birthday. I was just calling you to make sure that you got your gift that I sent. He sent me a card with like $10 in it. I don't know. He was like, I just want to make sure that you got your card, and I want to tell you happy birthday, and I love you, blah, 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 and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I was like, thanks, Dad. I love you too. I did get my card, and he was like, I'll talk to you tomorrow, baby. You know, he would call, whatever. Like I said, he still treated me like I was his child. So he told me that he would call me the next day. So that was my birthday. I got off the phone. The next day, there used to be, back in the day, it was okay to let your kids, like, go here and there. Like, you didn't have to worry about all the crazy stuff. So there used to be, like, this church. It was like this church van that used to pick us up and take us to, like, this place where it was basically like an arcade. They would feed us, blah, blah, blah. They would do that all the time. So the next day I went. I don't know why my sister and brother didn't go, but I went. I got up and I went. And I remember when I got home and my mom, she was crying. And I'm like, why is she crying? And, like, my uncle lived there and his girlfriend. I was like, why is she crying? And then I go into my room and, like, my sister's crying. And I'm like, why is everybody crying? And then my uncle, he was like, I need you to sit down. I need to tell you something. And so he was like, I just wanted to let you know that, you know, your dad passed away. Okay. So now I realize why everybody's crying. But so my mom, we had to come back here to Mississippi for, like, the funeral and all that stuff. It was a closed casket. We could not open the casket and view the body. They had to make the children and non-immediate family leave from the little area where the casket was during the funeral, when they opened it up for my mom and his mom and them to identify and let them know, yes, this is him. And I remember having to go in another room, and I remember I could hear my mom screaming, I could hear my grandma crying. Like, it was that bad to where he could not have an open casket, okay? I'm pretty sure one day there'll be people on here that are related to the people that killed him, because I'm from Batesville, Mississippi. There's a lot of people that watch me, and I actually want y'all to hear my story and hear how I feel. So, after that, I mean, let me tell you how it happened. I'm so out of here. Just listen, y'all. Okay, so what had happened was my dad and his friend. My dad had called me for my birthday or whatever. Anyways, that afternoon or that night, him and his friend that he worked with and that he was friends with decided to go to a bar like 30 minutes outside of where we live. So they went, and a lot of this was told to me, but it was told to me different when I was younger. Like, it wasn't detailed as I know now. I knew somebody killed him then, but I didn't know all the details until I got older. And then I looked up the case online, and like I was reading through the court documents and all that stuff, because my mama would tell me one thing, and then people would tell me different things that happened to him. So I wanted to know for myself when I got older. So I actually went and looked it up and found it online. My underarm itchy, y'all. Okay, so they went out, drinking, partying, whatever, got drunk. They lost the guy that he was riding with. He lost the keys somewhere. No, he locked the keys in his vehicle, and he didn't have no way to get them out. Mind you, they were at a club. Our clubs here are pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Ain't no locks people coming out there to help you. So just so happened that two guys that they worked with had got thrown out of the club because they were intoxicated, and they were just disturbing the freaking peace around there where everybody was trying to party. So they actually got kicked out of the club, and my dad and them asked them if they could catch a ride home because they locked one of them locked their key. He locked his keys in his truck. They need a ride home. So the guys was like, sure, we'll give you a ride home. Well, my dad and the other guy that got in the back seat, mind you, my dad knew the other guy that was with him. I don't want to say his name. Knew the other guy that was with him because they were really good friends. The other two that they were riding with just worked with them, right? So, they were on their way home. They dropped my dad's friend off first. Okay, after they dropped him off, they were headed to take my dad home. In the court documents, now I didn't know this till I was older, it kept saying that they had their windows down, and my dad kept asking them to roll their windows up because it was cold outside, and he was cold, and they wouldn't roll their windows up, and then they got in an argument, and they told him that he needed to shut the F up, and all this stuff. And then something about the radio. He didn't want to listen to whatever was on the radio. So he was trying to reach over to change the radio. And the man was like, don't touch my radio no more. Well, they just got tired of it. My dad trying to tell them to... And mind you, I'm telling y'all, he was probably like 3 miles. 3 miles. Can't be more than that. From his house. From where they were supposed to drop him off. So they pull over at this field. They're upset because my dad wants the windows up, blah, 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 all this stuff. So they pull my dad out of the vehicle and they start fighting with them. They're intoxicated. My dad is intoxicated. They start fighting with them. One of the guys grabbed a liquor bottle that he had in the car and he hit him over the head. That's what cracked his skull. And when it cracked his skull, he had internal bleeding on his head. They took him out there in this field to leave him out there. They went back trying to get like their girlfriends to come back and help them tie bricks to him to throw them in the water. One of them went and got their mom, and then her boyfriend was like a detective or something out here at the time. Mind you, we live in a small ass place. If you know somebody who knows somebody, you're gonna get through whatever. So he was like trying to get like the evidence up and hide stuff, the wallet, all that stuff before like the police came. But anyways, they got caught. The autopsy showed that when they left my dad out there that he was still alive because he had like scratch marks on his chest. He had dirt under his fingernails where he was trying to actually drag himself to get help. Why they couldn't just take my dad like the 3 miles and drop him off on my grandma's porch so that she could call the police, or the ambulance, I have no idea. But they just left him out there in that field. The two guys that did it, I've actually seen them here. They actually went to jail. They didn't do but 15 years or something like that. They didn't do long. They got out when my brother was 18. They did it when he was 15 to like 13 years. Something like that is all they did. And then they were released on good behavior, which is really fucked up. And I get to see, one of them I get to see all the time. He was the youngest one that was in the mix of this, and his name is John Paul Harper. He lives here in Batesville. I see him now all the time. He has a little boy. I started seeing him when his little boy was like probably right before he was a year old. And the man don't know who I am or nothing like that. Like, he don't know who we are. You gotta remember, we were so little then. We were so young. I was 10. All this happened back then. I'm 33 now. He don't know who I am. But I always see him with that little boy. Like, he always takes that boy to the grocery store. Him and that little boy are like this. Sometimes I want to stop him and be like, you know what? I'm thankful that your child gets to experience, having a father and doing all these things with his father, because you took that from us. But then there's a part of me that's like, you've let that go. You've forgiven the people that's done that. I try to look at everything positive. I know the stuff that my dad put my mom through. I know when you love somebody, the weakness you have for that person. So I know that my mom struggled a lot more with him than she did without him. And some people say, that's so wrong of you to say, but people don't really understand. I don't think my brother would have grew up to be half the man that he is now. I think my mom would have continued to struggle. Even though it was a struggle, I think she would have struggled even more on top of how she was already struggling to take care of us. I just think that mentally it would have took her, like physically, like all that, it would have been more on my mom. So at the same time, you always have to look for the positive in why God does what he does. There's a reason for it. Okay, so I always see that man all the time. I never say anything to him. But I am appreciative that that little boy knows his dad as just being his dad, his loving dad, his dad that's going to protect him, going to be there for him. I'm glad that he doesn't see him as I see him or as my mom sees him or something like that. Now, the other guy that lives here is William Roden. I don't think ever have I ever ran into him in the store. I've met like some of his family and stuff. There was this guy that I met and we worked together. We were really, really cool. And he was just talking to me about his family and telling me who his family was. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I know who your family is. Like, your uncle killed my dad. And he was like, I am so sorry. Like, he just started apologizing. And I was like, no, I can't. I keep thinking somebody's outside. I was like, no, I cannot hold you accountable for something that one of your family members did. Like, you had nothing to do with that. Like, you were the same age I was. That wasn't nothing to do with you. I don't hold no grudge against you, and I want him to know that. But so y'all know, if people do stuff to y'all, don't hold that against the other people that are around, because they didn't have nothing to do with that. But anyways, that's how my dad died. The guys are still here in Mississippi, in Batesville, Mississippi. They still live here. I do see them all the time. That's why my mom ended up raising us by herself. She never really got with anybody else. I mean, she had a boyfriend, but we were so bad. And by that time, we became teenagers when she decided to get a boyfriend. So we were like horrible freaking kids that just ran everybody off and just made her life a living freaking hell because she had to live alone. But, y'all, I'm looking for my makeup. I am so sorry that I am all over the place. But that's just the story for y'all that wanted to know what happened. Those people that asked. I said I was going to do it, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Me and my sister, we still talk about Dad. And, her kids know they never met him. They was not even thought about then. But they know about him. They can tell you, like, where he's at, he's in heaven, like all that stuff. So she makes sure that they know about him. I have pictures of him in the house. We don't really talk to my brother much about him. I don't know if it's because he was so young, like he was 5, so he never really talked about him at all. But I mean, what 5-year-old would? So we don't say a lot about it. It's just because, it's not because we just want people to forget. It's just because we don't know how people will react, and we don't want to trigger anything that might make him sad or it might make him upset. So we just never talk about it. He's never asked me any questions about it. I don't know if he knows like the whole story, what happened, or if he don't know what happened. So basically, after all that happened, my dad has brothers. One brother, he doesn't live here. Like, he's always just been from Washington to, like, he just moves. And that, he actually lives in Mississippi now, I think, but not close. I think it's like Hattiesburg or something. But then he has another brother that is garbage as fuck. But anyways, there's Paul actually took my brother and basically was the father figure for my brother. So he taught my brother a lot about work and all this stuff. I think that's why my brother turned out to be like this great guy that he is. And I will always be thankful for them for that. Because like I said, people say that it's wrong for me to think like that. But y'all got to understand, I'm a different type of person. There's a lot of stuff I believe in. There's a lot of stuff I don't believe in. But I'll never knock a person for what they do believe in. And I just feel like y'all have to remember, God is in control of our life now. If God takes somebody, don't be mad at God. That's what I have to remind myself. And I am human. And yes, it happens to where I'm mad. I was mad when I had... I've lost 3 pregnancies so far, and I was mad. But I have to remember, like, he knows what's best. I think I know what's best, but how can I know what's best when he's the one that put me together? He's the one that put my life together. He wrote my book, and I cannot be mad at that. And I have to remember that, and that is completely fine. But yeah, my mom, she just would have struggled. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of women on here that know how that is to deal with the man that don't want to keep a job, but you have kids, so you have to work, but you have to stay with him because you love him. And then on top of that, at least he will babysit the kids. You don't have to pay for a babysitter. Like, there's so much, and I understand that. And I'm just saying that, I don't know, I'm just glad that, I'm not glad that he died the way he died, but it took a lot off of my mom. And I love my dad. We had the same connection that him and my sister and brother has. He has another son that lives here that's older than us. He's just a couple years older than me. Y'all, when I see him, I swear like they're identical twins. His name's Justin. They're twins. He comes around every now and then. Not a lot. He has his own, life problems and stuff like that. So when I see him, I make sure I say, hey, brother, all that stuff. I don't want him to feel like we don't think that he is not related to us or we're not kin or nothing like that, because we are. But, yeah, I just wanted to come on here today. And I know this is probably, like, all over the place. And I'm sorry for that. My mind is on one thing. And I'm trying to get up out of this house. How many minutes did I do? 27 minutes? Yeah, that's long enough, y'all. So I'm going to get off of here. I just wanted y'all to know that story so that y'all can understand a little bit more about us and about why we appreciate so much in life. And I actually think that losing him at that age made us appreciate our mama a lot more. Even though she had, to whoop our asses sometimes. I think it taught us not to take things for granted. That's why I give my mama $50 for the casino when she asks for it. Y'all, I'm finna get off here, okay? Thank y'all for sticking around and watching me. Thank you guys for always being my biggest support. One day, I might be big enough to get paid on here. I mean, I'm big enough. But, thank y'all so much for everything. I'm finished getting dressed because I look a little peachy pelly. I love y'all. Thanks again.